Welcome back to another episode of Fear the Talking Heads. This is a special treat today because everyone who knows me knows how much I love the movie Scream. And today I have Leonora Scelfo with me. And this whole entire episode is being interpreted by my good friend Kat, ASL interpreter who also volunteers for Scarefest and Lexington Comic Con. So, welcome to you both. Thank you for your time tonight.
Is it started? Am I on?
You're on. This thing is on.
Is it on? Hi,
So
Barb and Kat.
now with the conventions, you've met a lot of people, a lot of fans that have been around since the start of this back in 1996 when Scream first came out. And with next year being, 30 years, that's quite a long time.
I
What?
I know. I feel like my parents.
So have there been any cool interactions you've had with some of the fans coming up to your table?
Oh my gosh. I mean, yes, where would you start? Yeah. I mean, it's funny you say that because, I had been asked to do conventions years ago. I mean, I never did it. I didn't really kind of understand. In my life, I just thought a convention was what my stepdad did. He collects comic books. He's 82. I just thought those are what that's for. The people that put comic books in plastic wrap, those are what conventions are. That was in my head, the idea that I had. So when I got, again asked, like, I think it was just shy of 3 years, maybe 2.5 years, Nancy Ann's like, hey, would you want to do these conventions? People, they want to meet everybody from the original cast from Scream. It's really important. I agreed to do it not knowing at all what it was going to be like. And then when I actually did one, I was like, this is the best thing ever because you really interact with the fans. They tell you these stories. I've had people tell me stories that they proposed marriage to the scene while they were watching it. I mean, it's just like, and if I had not gone to one of these conventions, I would have never known about any of this because I didn't engage with the Scream fandom at all in any way on social media. It just wasn't a thing. My Instagram didn't even reflect it. But just about the time that I did my first convention, someone took over my Instagram. I don't know if that's ever happened to you, and I lost it, so I started a new one. But anyway, the point is I had no idea, just none. You know.
So it's been pretty good experiences. I'm glad to hear that. And now you have this merch line that you hadn't had until now, which
Yeah, that's.
I have to show this off.
Oh my gosh, are you wearing it? Oh
Yes.
my god, it looks so cute. Wow, that's a Dan Gorman design. He's a fairly famous comic book. We're actually tweaking. It's funny that we're tweaking that. So the thing with the merch line is just from like sheer laziness. People have asked me for the entire time that I've done conventions, if you do a convention with Paul T. Taylor, who I love, Pinhead, he from Hellraiser Judgment, he basically has a store. I mean, he has so much stuff that he sells, and I'm just more lazy. I'm a minimalist. I like to travel light. So if you come to my table, people would always, ask you have a T-shirt. Maybe she's a slut like her mom T-shirt. I'm like, no, I don't have any merch. So this is because I didn't want to travel with anything. I was like, this seems like a lot of like work to bring like a coffee mug and I'm like, I'm not a store. I'm just like a human being that was in a movie. Like, I'm not a store. So I never did anything with merch. And I kind of hung back and quietly watched, all my peers, the Doug Tates and Brett Wagners and Felisa Roses and all of them, with their different merch. And I was always envious. And I was like, when I grow up one day, I'm gonna have a table that looks like Eileen Dietz or Dietz. How do you say her last name? She's my favorite.
I
But
think it
it's
is
like when
Eileen
I
Dietz.
comes, it's like she has two tables. It's like, you know, so this is me meeting in the middle because I'm gonna have a QR code. I have this stuff available and I don't have to travel with it. I think
That's
it's
perfect.
perfect.
That's so perfect. Oh,
Right?
I wanted to show off something. So one of the things that I'm hoping ends up on one of your t-shirts or hoodies
Well, I'm glad you
is
said that because I will be collaborating with Scream artists.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Is this one. So When I saw you, I asked you to put homicide as a much healthier therapeutic expression. And
I
it's
will
my
call it the
favorite.
Barb shirt because it's already going to be online probably by Monday or Tuesday. I got
Yay!
your note. Barb sent me a note, and whenever Barb writes me, because I open up your messages immediately.
You
I do
do.
because I love you. I think you're so cool. When I makes me happy when I see your name on my Instagram. So I'm
Thank
like, oh,
you.
what does Barb have to say? So you sent me. I think there should be a T-shirt. Homicide is a much healthier therapeutic expression, and I immediately texted the artist, and it's in the works.
Oh, perfect.
Is there anything else
Perfect.
you'd like,
The
Barb?
check is in the mail, as they say. So I'm so happy for that. And then you also had mentioned that a portion of the sales from that are going to, what are they? One
One Love
Love.
Foundation. Well, I mean, the whole merch thing, came from like the fans asking for merch. Do you have this? Do you have that? And I never did. But then it just felt kind of weird, like I just having a merch store. I wanted to kind of give back too. So every month I will be highlighting, a foundation that I like, and One Love Foundation this month, and it might, just to bring awareness, but have you ever heard of it
I
before?
hadn't until you had sent that to me. So if you want to share that with
Well,
the,
yeah, it's basically just teaching teenagers about toxic relationships. And it was started by a woman whose daughter was murdered on campus, on a college campus. And all of the signs were there, the red flags. And, I think we all, especially with social media, like we all know the terms now, red flag and narcissism. And we know what, manipulation and obsessive and all the different, words are. But this organization addresses it and gives the information and tools to teenagers immediately. So it's like being able to share this information when it can actually make a difference in
and the
someone's life.
and the fact I had never heard of it until now, and you have plenty of fans. So this is, I think this will definitely spread the
Well, that's
word.
what I was thinking. So I used to work with teenagers, and I used to work with abused teenagers in a placement. I can't really talk about it, but it was something that was on my heart, and I did it for a lot of years. And I can't, I worked with teenagers that would cut, and they came from abusive families. And when you come from no good foundation, you end up on the streets. And so I did that, with the sexual trafficking. I can't really talk about it, but I did it for 2 years, and the things that I saw nobody should, ever see. So that's like a big thing on my heart. I
Thank you for
spent one
sharing
of my
that.
birthdays, at the ER for, like, the girls would try to kill themselves. I mean, it was, a real thing. So, but anyway, so yeah, I just thought, I'm going to do this little merch thing. I want it to be something positive also, not,
Absolutely.
yeah. So I thought I
Yeah,
would highlight, and even, it really is true. I feel like I'm screaming, but even if you can make a difference in one person's life, just one person, because, I'm just, the girl from Scream, but if I can bring awareness to one person and help one person with this little thing, then that's what I would want to do. So,
that's wonderful.
yeah.
So now you mentioned Scream, going back to Scream, you had a mom and a grandmother who were already kind of in the industry. Did they give you any pointers on how to go in and make your mark?
So funny you said that. Yeah. Well, my grandmother had the first facelift you could have back in 1974. So, um, when you grow up with two, my grandmother was very famous. She did all the Roy Roger movies, and my mother was Deborah Winters. You kind of just think that you're supposed to be an actress, but I'm much more suited. I directed a theater company for 14 years. I'm much more suited for behind the scenes, but I just fell into it because that's what I saw my grandmother and my mom do. So, I mean, there wasn't, a whole lot of advice. It wasn't really like that. My mom did, once she knew that I was really going to do it, she sat me down. And I guess this might seem weird to someone else, but she really explained to me the difference between theater acting, which I'm about to go see her do a Neil Simon play, Prisoner on Second Avenue. As soon as I'm done with this, my mom, I'm not going to say how old she is because she is she doesn't like that. Women don't like that, but she's older and she's still starring in plays in her local theater groups. I think it's fantastic. But she actually sat me down because she wanted to explain to me the difference between theater acting and film acting. And she wanted to also explain to me the different mediums and why she preferred film acting, even though she trained with Stella Adler and Lee Strasberg, all the greats. But basically, it boiled down to she wanted me to know that when you're on camera, it's really important that you not do too much because the camera can literally read everything and that you need to know that. So if you're going to make a choice to do a lot, just realize that the camera can literally pick up your thoughts. And she was really right about that. The first part I ever did, the director had to be like, whoa, 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 calm down. We can hear you. Because I was just used to doing theater.
You were
So I was like
projecting.
yelling to the back, the back of this though. So yeah, my mom just gave me tips like that, and also she would say things like, be really careful with hair and makeup. Don't let them put too much makeup on you. If it's low budget, do your own makeup. They don't know what they're doing. She would go into detailed stuff like that. So I guess maybe that's not that interesting,
Right.
but
No, I think it is.
yeah. And
Having
then
having
a lot
someone
of other
guide
things
you.
she'd say things like, if you're going to show your boobs, don't show your legs. If you're going to show your legs, don't show your boobs. She would be like, don't show, I don't know, just a lot of weird tips like that. Since I've been in the convention world, there's been, so much more interest in me, but not me, my the history, my family history, because my grandfather did run Universal Studios with Lou Wasserman for 30 years. That's all, head of television casting. He'd cast things like Gunsmoke and Bonanza. I mean, he was there. He had his start in the mailroom, but he also gave him Reuben Cannon, the first Black person ever in casting, his start. I mean, there's a lot of history there. So I've been talking more about that kind of stuff than normal. And I think Golden Hollywood, it's kind of lost now. It doesn't even exist anymore. So it is a very cool period of time that my grandparents were a part of and my mom. And I do treasure it. I do. And I don't try to brag about it. I'm just proud of them.
Well, not everyone who goes into acting has that kind of guidance or things to draw from for it. So now I
Right. But
remember,
I also want to point out that my grandfather grew up poor on a farm in Ohio, the Brace Milk Farm. My middle name is Brace, not Grace. And he hitchhiked to, Los Angeles. He had nothing. He was an Air Force pilot hero. That was what he did. And then when he was done with that, he hitchhiked to Los Angeles. With the little money he had, he bought the nicest suit he could. And then he sat at a bar that he heard was frequented by executives in the film industry. And he sat at that bar every night for 3 weeks straight until he struck up a conversation with Lou Wasserman, who ran Universal Studios. And Lou Wasserman said, "You're a good kid. Come work in the mailroom." So I just wanted to point out that they came from nothing. There was no nepo baby.
right, I
And my
love
grandmother was dancing in bars when she was 11 years old because my great grandmother, Lady Ethel, forced her to work at 11 because she was so pretty and already looked like a movie star. And she made everybody call her Lady Ethel. So, I mean, I come from working people.
by the time you went to audition for your role, I guess I remember something being said at the Milwaukee Horror Fest where you and Nancy Ann were speaking for just a little bit at that panel, where you both auditioned for different roles. And that's something that not everyone realizes, that sometimes when you go in for a role, you think you're going to audition for something, but they want you for something else, and vice
Yeah, I'm
versa.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I wanted to. I've never. I do very few podcasts because it's almost painful for me to talk about myself. I hate it. It's like, but I've never talked about this before. But I wasn't a cheerleader in high school, and I think a lot of people think, they always think the cheerleader in every movie is like the bitch, and because they are. But in my real life, I was not a cheerleader. I was popular by default because I was popular. Christina Applegate went to my school, and I was popular only because I was friends with popular people, but I wasn't. I was the girl that went to punk rock shows, reggae festivals. I ditched school to eat at Bob's Big Boy, and then I was low key on the speech and debate team, and I didn't let any of my friends know because I was embarrassed. And when I won top speaker in all of Los Angeles, they made the announcement on the homeroom loudspeaker like they do, and everybody just nobody knew I was in speech and debate because I was busy trying to pretend like I was, just cool. And they made this announcement on the loudspeaker that said, "Congratulations to Leonora Scelfo. She won top speaker in all of Los Angeles against Harvard High School, every school. She's the top speaker." And all my friends looked at me with disgust. They turned
No,
around in homeroom and they were like,
that's not what I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going
"No,
to say like this moment where everybody looks at you is like, Leonora, you didn't tell us.
no." It was like,
Oh,
we thought she was cool and she's in speech and debate. That's what the moment was. So back to Scream. So when I know that really happened. The moment, I'm sorry, Barb, I let
no,
you down.
I would have geeked out over that as your friend, though. I would have been like,
No, but
there you go.
the group that I was running with, they didn't think that was cool. So anyway, so when I auditioned for Scream, I auditioned for Sydney, and Lisa Beach was the casting person. I auditioned for that, and Wes Craven brought me back, and he personally told me, he said, "I really love you for Sydney, but Miramax, they need a name." And Nev Campbell was Party of Five, and she was, perfect for that part. But he said, "But I have this other part, and it's the cheerleader part in the bathroom, and I'm just going to give it to you, to do." So of course, I was grateful. I was like, "Well, thank you," but I was like, it's not the lead, at the time. I'm only, I'm in my early 20s, but I was so grateful. They had given me the script. I didn't, I remember the scene, but so they gave me that part of the cheerleader. So
Okay.
but when I did the actual part, there were many ways that I could have gone with it. I could have done, the Valley Girl thing, like, "Oh my God, what if Sydney killed Casey and Steve? Because her mother's a slut, just like her mother." I could have done the whole Valley Girl thing. I worked it out myself different ways. Like, how do I want to do this? Because the point that I'm trying to make is I wasn't a cheerleader. I didn't like cheerleaders in school. I thought they were fucking bitches. I didn't want to party with them. I thought they were stuck up and conceited. So I thought to myself, how do I want to play this? Do I want to just feed into that, or do I want to do something different? So that's why I did, maybe she's a slut, just like her mother. And I kind of wanted to make the cheerleader darker and not your typical just throwaway, which it could have easily been if you really think about it.
Which
You
in a
know,
scene that you think probably like, okay, I went in, I did my lines, and it was a small scene, and you probably walked away from it like, I was a supporting character, whatever. And now looking back, how iconic that scene was, it's a pretty big deal.
well, it's funny you say that because we had a cast dinner at Wes Craven's before the shoot of the movie, and at his house, and I had become very friendly with him. He was so great, and he really liked. He used to call me Baby Sharon Stone, or actually, I was known as Baby Sharon Stone, but then he would say things like, "You're prettier than Baby Sharon Stone. You're not Baby Sharon Stone." He was just really like very generous, warm, and likable. But it was at his house that he explained to me that the scene was really important because Kevin Williamson wrote that scene first, and that's how he sold it to Miramax, and that the scene was so important. Wes is telling me this at the dinner before we're shooting, how important this scene is because it sets the tone for the whole movie. So after he says all this to me, I'm nervous. I'm like, oh my God, the whole movie's riding on me. This one scene, me and Nancy Ann, I didn't know Nancy Ann at the time. I'd never met her. I met her when, on set that day. So, but I didn't know her at the time. But I remember thinking to myself, like, okay, well, he's probably just trying to make me feel better because he's really nice. And I didn't get I couldn't do the other part. So he's just trying to make me feel like this is so important. But I guess all these years later, it really is, I guess.
And this is not something that everyone knows. I wouldn't have known that until you had said it, that it's a small piece that had sold the movie,
Yeah.
and it's so 90s. I mean, just the whole vibe of the movie is 90s.
Yeah.
And so now as far as you coming up with was that kind of I want to make sure my lipstick is
Well,
good
yeah. Well,
or
that goes back to what I was saying about when I was making my choices. about how I wanted to play the part. And that actually is something my grandmother taught me, that if you do this, and I still do it, you get the lipstick out from there.
Yeah.
So it was a choice that I made. I thought it was interesting. Now I know I didn't wash my hands. I mean, now it's like to the point when I go to a convention, people are watching me come out of the bathroom. I wash my hands for like an hour. But, I didn't really pee. I didn't really go to the bathroom. And I had very limited screen time. And I made a choice. And I thought that for me, I thought that would be more interesting than watching me wash my hands. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I made that choice. I wanted to make this cheerleader part because I didn't like cheerleaders in real life. I wanted to make her kind of creepy and weird. So
Yeah.
that was my attempt at making her a little bit like, what is this girl doing? She's putting her finger in her mouth. She's doing it. What is going on?
Well, and I think another reason why it's such an important piece of the film too is it's the first time that we actually hear someone talking about Sydney's mother in in a way of, oh, the whole town kind of knows about her mom. That was the first moment in the movie where you're like, oh my gosh, what was her mom doing out there?
I
You
have a
know?
lot of, we get sent, Nancy and I both get sent a lot of memes and things that people send us. Like it's one meme that says the bathroom girls saved the gays, and um you know but there's also one meme that says, who would have thought that the girl in the bathroom and Scream, everything she said was true or something. And now there's this new movement going because it's a grassroots thing, the bathroom girls. Like, you either love it and get it and you're into it, that scene in Scream, or you're not. But there are a lot of people that are. So, but now they're saying that she's a true feminist, this cheerleader, because I know it's being twisted. I'm like, I'm fine with that. But because she really speaks her mind unapologetically. So,
Hey, we can appreciate that.
thanks.
Now, in line in the same parallel of Scream, you have a new movie, newish movie. Well, it just came out, Blood on the Bleachers.
Yes.
But, I just watched it. I had saved it for Halloween night, and I can't believe this is rare that I'll watch a movie twice in one night. But after I knew who the killer reveal was, I went back and watched it again.
A lot of people have been saying they watched it 2 times in a row.
Yeah. Oh,
Same.
really?
Yeah, I don't know what. So you just wanted to kind of figure it out from the.
Well, once I had seen that third, the third act where the killer's revealed,
Yeah.
I thought, okay, the main character kept saying, I feel like it's right in front of my face. And it, and I loved that because by the end I was like, it was right in front of my face.
Oh, Chase Dudley, the director, is gonna love to hear that. He lives
Yes.
in Kentucky, so he knows I'm doing this podcast right now.
Oh, it was
Yeah.
fantastic. I did post a comment on his page saying how much I loved it, that I watched it twice in one night. And he was like, please, please go review this on IMDb. So I did. I went to
Well,
IMDb.
please, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what people have to realize too when they're watching a limited budget independent film, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be like Scream.
It's kind of the charm, though. Like,
It,
people like a
yes,
B-list movie. Not that Blood on the Bleachers is B-list. It's
right.
A. It's A. But in general, they like a low budge horror.
Yes. But something I have to say about that, you were in the first like 11 minutes, and I asked Leonora this before we hit record. I said,
She did.
can I spoil it? Can I say something? And so the spoil that we're going to give you is she was the Drew Barrymore of this movie. Okay.
Killed again.
The first on-screen kill, which in the world of horror, that's kind of an honor.
Well, it was an honor. Yeah, it totally.
Yeah.
And thank you for noticing that.
I messaged Leonora right away. I'm like, oh my God, you got the first on-screen kill. She's probably thinking, you freaking weirdo.
That's how it was pitched to me, that I was the director. Chase Dudley is beyond a huge Scream fan. Just, I mean, that's the part that it's going to make me cry. It can be a little addicting because Nancy Ann and I, we really enjoy engaging with the fans. Like, it means something to us. We're not just like there to sign. It's very meaningful. And Chase Dudley is such a huge Scream fan. I mean, he had the T-shirt on the day I was wearing, and I've collaborated with him again, which we could talk about later. But
Yeah.
yeah, he loves Scream, and that's how he pitched it to me. He was, will you be the Drew Barrymore of my Blood on the Bleachers? And I read the script and I actually thought it was really, it was a decent, good script. So
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
so what we're talking about, this movie, Blood on the Bleachers, is essentially a masked, go figure, it's a masked serial killer that's running around killing people, and you don't know until the end who it is. And you may figure it out, but I never do until the very end.
So you didn't figure it out?
No, you know what?
Good.
That's probably the beauty of it, because
That's good.
even with all the Scream franchise, which I absolutely love, there's never been a time where I figured it out. There's a red herring or two that leads me astray.
Well, isn't that great? I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so there's within that first 11 minutes, I don't want to give too much away, but I will say there's winks to the audience, to the Scream fans, that I just went, oh my God, Leonora, I saw that. I saw that.
And I was a
I
little
loved
bit
it.
hesitant to leave a couple of the Easter eggs because I was like, oh, is that cheesy? But I'm just like, fuck it, whatever. It's just fun. Who cares? You
No, and
know?
I loved your line, Angela, you need to get a life.
Yeah.
No, I really think
Thank
this
you
is,
for watching it. That means
yes.
a lot.
Well,
And it's
this is,
available to stream on all the platforms, even Google Play, Amazon, it's Amazon Prime,
well, it's $3 to rent right now, but I rented it and then I thought, damn it, I should have bought it. So now I'm going to end up buying it because I liked it so much, which,
I'm so happy to hear you say that because it's like people are liking that movie. Oh,
yes.
Lisa Wilcox is also in it.
Yes. Oh my gosh,
So,
Lisa
and I love
Wilcox.
Lisa. I just did another film with Lisa in Kentucky. We had Lisa and I had a face-off type of scene. Like we were both like, I can't reveal what happens, but it's a moment, and we were both shaking. I'm like, after we shot it, I'm like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "I was scared." I'm like, "Me too." So it was me and Lisa Wilcox face off in a different movie. It's another Chase Dudley film, and he had a different DP who's also editing it. Wow, is this guy talented? Johnny Young, like, my hat's off to him. I saw the trailer and I was like, y'all did a great job, both of them. I mean, but it kind of looks like the way it's shot, it looks like the Ozarks, and that's my favorite TV show,
Oh, yes.
Ozark,
We
and
were
it looks
talking about
exactly
that.
like that, like the coloring, the style, the camera. I mean, it's definitely Chase Dudley has outdone himself with this film. Each film he does, because I never knew anything about this Indiegogo world, or back in the day, you just had an agent, you went on auditions, and that was it. Now it's a whole different world out there, which I really like because you kind of have more power. But anyways, Chase Dudley has leveled up with each film, and this next film, The Desperate, is Noel G. I don't know if you would have ever heard of him, but a lot of people know who Noel G is from Fast and Furious. This isn't a horror movie. This is an action adventure. So Noel G plays Hector in every movie. It's like the 13th movie he's played Hector. He's amazing in it. Like, he is badass. So it's not a horror movie, but it's action adventure. I play a doctor whose daughter is killed, and then all fucking hell breaks loose.
Like revenge. Is it a revenge style movie
Yes,
or? Okay.
it has those elements. Leonard Peterson the third is in it, who I couldn't say enough great. He's a young up and coming actor. All I'm saying is he's badass, movie star vibes. He can really act. I mean, he does Shakespeare in the Park, and I mean, he's like a real actor. And then Kansas Bowling from Once Upon a Time in America, Quentin Tarantino. She's also the star of it. So it's got a good killer cast.
In a role like that where you have to pull emotions for grieving over your
Yeah,
daughter.
actually, the girl that played my daughter, her parents, her mom was the production manager, and the dad just came because she had a big part, and he just came for the week and was helping drive. He was a driver. He was awesome. And I can't reveal too much, but I can say, I mean, she was killed, whatever. But there's this scene in the morgue where I look at her dead body and you know I lose it. But her parents were watching me and they lost it. And when I was done, everybody was crying. They're like, "What the fuck?" I don't really remember because I always black out when if I black out when I work, not from alcohol. I don't drink. But if I'm really in it, I don't remember what I did. So I over prepare so that when I get to set, I can do whatever I want because I'm so prepared that you just throw everything. So I honestly don't even really remember what I did, but the scene called for me to break down, and I did. And then afterwards, so yeah, it was pretty heavy.
So moments like that makes me think of how Heath Ledger got into that Joker role and it's hard to pull himself out. How do you pull yourself out afterwards and how do you ground yourself after you've just had all those emotions? Because see, your body, you know you're acting, but your body is still going through the turmoil and all of the crying and the, emotions. So how do you ground yourself afterwards?
That's a really good question, but it is exhausting. I'm not one of those people that stays in character, but I kind of do. And I just keep to myself when I'm working, and a lot of people, they want to hang out after and I don't do any of that. I go to set to my room, to set to my room, to set to my room while if I'm in a role and I just have recovery time. I'm a laser focused type of actor. So I know Noel G wanted to hang out a couple of times and people, but and then you regret it later because you're like, I should have hung out. But to set to work, I just to set to sleep because I get very focused. And so that's how I get through it. I just work and then I go to sleep.
And where some people kind of, after the part is done, they still kind of take that with them. Are you able to separate
Yeah,
afterwards?
I was just um there I was just seeing I think I saw an interview with Charlie Hunnam. He just played Ed Gaines. I don't know if I'm saying his name right, but he just played Ed Gaines for the monster, the
Right.
serial killer that was the grave digger. And he was saying that, he's with this beautiful woman he's been with for, I don't know, over 25 years. And he said that his girlfriend, they're not married, but his partner, I don't know what to say when they're not married, but his partner said, give yourself a week and then you can see me, get it out of your system. But I think all actors are different. And I think, for me, it's not that deep. It is deep for me, my preparation. But then once I'm on set and I do the work, and then after I'm done, I let it go.
Okay.
I let things go.
Yeah, that's good. That's really healthy, actually. So then now you as a person, I always love to ask this question because I feel like you get to know a person a little better. What are the movies and TV that you like to enjoy? It's not always
um,
horror for everyone that, just because you've played in horror movies doesn't mean you necessarily like to watch horror. So,
right, yeah. No, film has been a huge part of my life. My mom was married a few times and my grandmother, but my biological dad was a weekend dad, and he would come get me on the weekends, and he'd take me to movies, and he would take me to inappropriate movies. And what I mean by inappropriate was Woody Allen movies. So I was going to see Annie Hall and Manhattan when I was 6 years old and loving it. Actually, Diane Keaton, it was a huge loss. She was just keep putting lipstick on. I love Diane Keaton so much. She was a huge part of my childhood. So I loved Woody Allen movies. And now I know there's all the controversy, and that's terrible. So now we can't speak of it. And it does make me feel uncomfortable to talk about Woody Allen because I'm a huge advocate for anybody that's been abused or so now it's kind of awkward, but Woody
sure.
Allen. And then I love documentaries and anything Martin Scorsese, all the Godfathers, Casino, all that stuff, Tootsie, Goodfellas. I loved John Cassavetes. And then my absolute favorite genre, hands down, and I even taught a film course at the high school level, was classic film. That's my favorite. So black and whites, Betty Davis, and it really truly is. Anyone that knows me. And so then my favorite horror movie probably would be The Bad Seed.
Oh,
So
wow. That's
yeah,
okay. That's taking it back.
Well, it's
And
unbelievable. That little girl, that
right.
evil little girl, was really the appropriate age. The fact that she could play that role so well and so believable, it's just, have you seen it?
Yes, and I actually did an
Don't you
episode
find
on
it scary?
it is scary. I did
And
an episode called the its topic was the villainous kids in horror. And one of the Bonehead, because I did it with Bonehead Weekly, a collaboration, and one of them chose the bad seed, and I had, of course, Brightburn and other ones on my list. But the bad seed was like, oh yeah, why didn't I think of that? Why wasn't
one of
that
my
on my
favorite
list?
movies. I love that. Oh, Daddy, you're a basket full of flowers. And she's skipping and killing people with her tap shoes. And just the whole time, pigtails. I mean, it's a crazy wild ride. That I forget, I don't know the name of, I know the name of the actress, but I always forget it. She's incredible.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so I love any Betty Davis movie, any kind of classic film. I love it. I mean, What About Eve is one of my favorite movies, of all time.
So you like crime drama too. Are
Love
there
it. I
any
listen to true crime all day, podcasts.
That's what I was going to mention. I know you listen to podcasts. Are there any podcasts out there that you would
Yeah.
recommend?
Love in this order. I love uh Crime Junkie, Kendall Ray, and then Seriously, Annie Elise. Those are the top three for me. And they're seriously, Annie Elise is a little bit annoying. She kind of has the Valley Girl voice, but she tries so hard, and she's your true crime bestie. So I still love her, but every now and then I'm like, Annie, enough with the oh my god and the like, and I find true crime. I don't know what it says about society that we're all so obsessed. I mean, I started reading Ted Bundy auto biographies, not auto. I don't think he ever wrote one, but biographies about Ted Bundy when I was 12 years old. So I think for me, the fascination it's more of like I don't think about anything else when I'm listening to this true crime. It's like you're completely engaged. And I have one of those minds where I mean, I think we all do. We're always thinking and we have lists going on in our head. But when I listen to true crime, all of that stops and I'm trying to solve the crime. you know? So, and I also loved Murder She Wrote growing up.
There you
And I
go.
had my own pet detective agency when I was little. So this is what we're dealing with.
See, this
By
is
the
how,
way, I've never solved a crime in my life. And every single time, I have no idea who the killer is until it is revealed to me.
okay, so you and I are similar in that
Yes,
way.
complete suspension of disbelief. The only thing that's made it better is my relationship with my stepdad has really grown as I've gotten older because we have a lot of similar habits now. We like to watch Hallmark Christmas movies, and he's like a Sherlock Holmes. He's a very intelligent Dr. Warren Chaney. He's a writer and he's very intelligent, but he's kind of taught me now. Like, so we watch these shows together, and he'll tell me the foreshadowing and like, oh, they're leaving this clue and that clue. And still, I still can, he always figures everything out. I never figure it out. So
Yeah, that's
I'm
part of the
sweating just thinking
appeal.
about it.
And I think part of the fun is me not knowing and you not knowing until that last couple of minutes where maybe 10 seconds before it's almost
Yeah,
like that Scooby-Doo where they're just getting ready to pull off the mask.
right. And I love that we're not jaded, that we don't know.
We just
We're
take it
just
for
here
what it is.
enjoying
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I know that you have to go see your mom in a play tonight, so
Yes.
have a lot of fun with
Starring in the
that.
play.
I hope you enjoy yourself, and I hope she enjoys herself.
Thank you
And
so much for having me,
yeah,
Barb.
I hope you'll come back sometime in 2026
I
on
would
the
love
podcast.
to.
Yeah.
Maybe my Nancy Ann and I, my very best friend, Nancy Ann Ritter, maybe we can come back.
Yeah, do kind of a dual situation and talk about anything else that has happened, in the prior months. But
Yeah.
thank you again. And yes, have a lovely evening. And I'm sure we'll chat at some point on Instagram.
Yes. Thanks, Barb.